To subtract decimal numbers, we once again align digits of the same value, and we proceed in much the same way that we did with whole numbers. Consider this problem. We have this decimal number, we want to subtract that one, and all we do is write this one down, write this one under it with the digits aligned, and away we go. Here's how it works. I'm going to bring down the 26 and 29 thousandths. So 26 and 29 thousandths. And I'll put the 19 and 31 hundredths below. And you know, this alignment business can be really fast because you just pop the decimal in here like this, and then from a structural standpoint, you have a number to the left of the decimal and a number to the right. You just kind of write them down. We have 19 on the left side of the decimal. We have 31 on the right side, and that's it. Now we draw a line and subtract. Now, we do in some cases need to be careful about putting the placeholders in that we said were optional before. Well, in some cases with subtraction, it's optional. It's optional to put them in, and in other cases it's kind of mandatory. And I'll show you a situation like that in a little bit. Here, it really doesn't make any difference whether we put a 0 in or not because we have 9 minus 0. You see, for these digits. So I can either put the 0 in or leave it out. It doesn't make any difference in this one, but it might in a future problem. So we have 9 minus 0 is 9. Then we have 2 minus 1 is 1. We have 0 minus 3. Oh, we can't take 3 from 0, so we have to go through the borrowing process that we're already familiar with. We go over to the 6 and we borrow 1, and the 6 becomes a 5. The 1 that we borrow makes this 10. Now, don't worry about borrowing across the decimal point. It's okay. It's done in exactly the same way that the borrowing was accomplished before. And it means the same thing, too, by the way. When we borrow 1, you see, from the 6, we are borrowing 1 unit, 1 whole number. And that 1 is really 10 tenths, you see. So the 1 that we borrowed here makes this 10 tenths. Anyway, 10 minus 3, 7. Bring down the decimal point. 5 minus 9 won't go. We borrow from the 2, it becomes a 1. The 1 that we borrow makes this 15. 15 minus 9, 6. And then 1 minus 1, 0, and we don't need to write this 0. All right, so 6 and 719 thousandths is our answer. Now, remember when we subtracted before, when we were talking about whole numbers, we said that the top number, presumably the amount that we have to begin with, is called the minuend. The amount that we're subtracting is called the subtrahend. And the answer in a problem like this is called the difference. Same idea here. And we said that there is a neat way to check subtraction problems. We can take this difference and we can add the subtrahend and we'll get the minuend as the result. And it's kind of like working backwards through the problem. But let's go ahead and check this one using that technique. We'll take the difference, the answer that we got in the process, 6 and 719 thousandths. And we're going to add the subtrahend. So we're adding the 19 and 31 hundredths. And we'll see if we get the minuend. Let's see. 9 and 0, 9. 1 and 1, 2. 7 and 3, 10. I'll write the 0 and carry 1. Don't forget to bring down the decimal point. 1 and 6, 7 and 9, 16. Write the 6, carry 1. 1 and 1, 2. So 26 and 29 thousandths. Is that the minuend that we started with? Yes, it is. And so we have checked that we have a correct difference here. Here's an interesting situation which involves quite a bit of borrowing. We begin the problem by aligning the digits of the same value. It's already in that form. Notice the decimals are aligned here. So 5 minus 2. Let's see, 5 minus 2, that would be 3. And then 0 minus 8, oh, it won't go. So we go over and borrow. And we have to go all the way over here to the 3. Borrow 1 from the 3 and it becomes a 2. The 1 that we borrow makes this a 10. We borrow from the 10, making it a 9. The 1 that we borrow makes this a 10. Whew, now we're ready to go. 10 minus 8 is 2. Then 9 minus 9, 0. Bring down the decimal. 2 minus 1 is 1, and this is our answer. We could go through the check process once again if we want to, and there's kind of a fast way to do that. We can almost do it in this environment, can't we? After all, we're taking the difference and we're adding the subtrahend. So let's just go up and add. It would be 3 and 2, 5. Yeah. 2 and 8, 10, right? The 0 carry the 1. It was a 0 here to begin with, remember. And we're carrying the 1. So 9 and 1, 10. We write the 0. We carry 1. 1 and 1, and the 1 that we carried over, that's 3. So the 3 here. You see, we can kind of look through the problem and do a quick check kind of like that if we want to do that. Here's one where we have a whole number and we're subtracting a decimal, and as we found earlier, it's important to realize that the decimal point in 19 in any whole number is just to the right of the rightmost digit. So when we set it up for subtraction, it's 19, you see, with the decimal point here. And then writing this number, the decimal goes here, we have a 10 to the left, and we have 372 to the right. That's 372 thousandths. You see, in our decimal form. But when we go to subtract, this is where it's necessary to write those zeros, because after all, we're trying to subtract 2 from nothing up here. We can't take 2 away from nothing. So we need zeros as placeholders. And now we can go over and borrow, and we have to go all the way over to the 9 and borrow 1. We borrow from the 9, it becomes an 8. The 1 that we borrow makes this 10. We borrow from the 10, it becomes 9. The 1 that we borrow makes this 10. We borrow from this 10, it becomes 9. And this becomes 10. And now away we go. 10 minus 2, 8. 9 minus 7, 2. 9 minus 3, 6. Bring down the decimal. 8 minus 0, 8. 1 minus 1, 0. We don't need to write it. This is then our answer. Here's another problem involving money. We had one like this, or a problem involving money in the last section. I'm going to show you a kind of a fast-track technique to deal with multiple subtraction. Here's the problem. It says that we have a balance in our checking account of $1,029.74, and we write checks for these different amounts. Now, every time we write a check, we need to subtract the amount from the previous balance. And to go through this process one check at a time, this is what would be required. We would take our balance, we would subtract $67.92. And the difference between those would be our new balance. And then we would take that new balance and subtract $43.10, giving us a new balance. And then we take that new balance and subtract $496.34. You see, so we would have 3 subtraction problems in working it like that. Well, another way to deal with it is to realize that all of the checks that are written have to be subtracted. And we can add all of the items that are to be subtracted and then subtract them all at one time from our previous balance. Here's what I'm talking about. We have these checks, you see, and let's just add all of the checks. And I'm going through the addition process here rather than the multiple subtraction, because addition makes fewer mistakes and it's a little easier. So I'll add these, and let's see what happens. We have 2 and 0 and 4. 2 and 4, 6. I have 9 and 1, 10. 10 and 3, 13. Write the 3, carry the 1. 1 and 7, 8, 8 and 3, 11, 11 and 6, 17, write the 7, carry 1. 1 and 6 is 7 and 4, 11, 11 and 9, 20, write the 0, carry 2. 2 and 4, 6. So the checks that have been written total $607.36. So this amount has to be taken from our previous balance. So here's what we do. We just write down our previous balance, that $1,029.74, and subtract all of the checks, the sum of all the checks written at one time. So we're going to subtract $607.36. And now we subtract as we normally would. Let's see, we've aligned the decimals, and we have 4 minus 6. Oh, won't go. Borrow from the 7, it becomes a 6. The one that we borrow makes this 14. 14 minus 6, 8. 6 minus 3, 3. Decimal comes straight down. 9 minus 7, 2. 2 minus 0, 2. 0 minus 6 won't go. Borrow from the 1. It becomes a 0. The one that we borrowed makes this 10. 10 minus 6, 4. So the balance in the account after writing these checks is $422.38.